Welcome back to The Breakdown with me, NLW. It's a daily podcast on macro, Bitcoin, and the big picture power shifts remaking our world.
What's going on, guys? It is Thursday, February 27th, and today we are digging into the Bybit hack. Before we get into that, however, if you are enjoying The Breakdown, please go subscribe to it, give it a rating, give it a review, or if you want to dive deeper into the conversation, come join us on the Breakers Discord. You can find a link in the show notes or go to bit.ly/breakdownpod. All right, friends. As promised, we are back today with an episode all about this big Bybit hack, the biggest exchange hack in crypto history. And we're going to be joined by Charles Guillemet, the CTO of Ledger. Now, Ledger is, of course, the sponsor of this show right now. And for those of you who think that that's too big a conflict of interest, I will see you tomorrow. Totally appreciate it. But to be clear, this is not a sponsored episode. It came out of the fact that in the wake of Bybit, I saw a thread from Charles that actually dug deep into some of the technical specifics of this hack, which I think is really pertinent and interesting. So as you know, I was traveling this week and I sent a set of questions to Charles and the Ledger team, and what you're going to hear is a self-recording of the answers to those questions. First though, for those of you who haven't been paying close attention, which I can't imagine what percentage of you that is, let me do a little bit of background. The TLDR is that at the end of last week, Bybit was hit by the biggest hack in crypto history, and likely the largest theft of any kind. On Friday, North Korean hackers, the Lazarus Group, stole over $1.4 billion from Bybit. Most troublingly, the funds were stolen from the Bybit cold wallet, which is supposed to be firewalled from making external transactions. Lazarus Group managed to drain the entire ETH cold wallet, including various stablecoins and ecosystem tokens. Everything was quickly converted into ETH tokens and is currently sitting in a network of the most watched wallets on the planet. Now, if you're not familiar with Bybit, the exchange is based in Dubai with close to $20 billion in overall customer assets on the platform. They have around 60 million users worldwide and are extremely popular across Asia and the Middle East. Bybit is now roughly the same size as Crypto.com or OKX and somewhere in the top 10 exchanges in the world. In other words, this is by no means a small or fly-by-night operation. Within half an hour of the news breaking, Bybit CEO Ben Zhao took to Twitter, declaring, "Bybit is solvent even if this hack loss is not recovered. All of client assets are one-to-one backed. We can cover the loss." He followed up with the Twitter Spaces to explain exactly what happened. It appears the hackers infiltrated the devices used to sign cold wallet transactions. Zhao commented, "Bybit ETH multi-sig cold wallets just made a transfer to our warm wallet about an hour ago. It appears that this specific transaction was musked. All of the signers saw the musked UI, which showed the correct addresses, and the URL was from Safe, our infrastructure provider. However, the signing message was to change the smart contract logic of our ETH cold wallet. This resulted in the hacker taking control of the specific ETH cold wallet we signed and transferred all ETH in the cold wallet to this unidentified address. Please rest assured that all other cold wallets are secure. All withdrawals are normal." Rather than shutting down withdrawals and causing a few sleepless nights over the weekend, Bybit kept them open throughout. The exchange managed to service around $4 billion of withdrawals, which have now slowed to a trickle. Most of the assets have already been redeposited. Zhao has also stated that the ETH hole has been completely filled using a combination of bridging loans and conversion of corporate assets. Bybit has now published an updated proof of reserve showing that all assets are backed one-to-one, and it appears that a bigger crisis has been averted. Many commented on Zhao's conduct, with 0xJeff posting, "This is a masterclass in crisis management and communication." Others noted that this would have played out very differently had a bank suffered such a large hack. Kashif Raza, the founder of BitInning, wrote, "If a bank were to be hacked for $1.4 billion, freeze withdrawals, inform government, set up an inquiry commission, years of investigation, customers standing in queue, branches closed, competitors getting an advantage. Bybit exchange hacked for $1.4 billion. CEO came live, industry united, competitors lend support, 1 hour and everything back to normal. Industry itself is tracking and freezing, zero withdrawal pending. This is what they don't like about crypto, unity." Binance CEO CZ added, "Don't worry, most banks don't have $1.4 billion in cash for you to steal. Fractional reserves." So, with the crisis seemingly over, the thing left to discuss is what this means for the industry moving forward. Although customer funds were backfilled, there's still the fact that Lazarus has an additional $1.4 billion at their disposal. One of the silver linings might be that this is an absurdly large pile of crypto to try to launder, and every on-chain analyst is keeping a close eye on where it goes. This is far larger than even the biggest mixers can handle. The failure and desertion of Thorchain has also closed off one of the few decentralized paths to convert ETH into Bitcoin. In other words, there's just not as many ways for Lazarus to launder money as there used to be, especially at anywhere close to this size. The other part of the story that will be ongoing is a discussion about the need to update security. And that is the part where we are going to dig into with Ledger CTO Charles Guillemet right now. All right, so as I said, this interview was done asynchronously, not altogether. So I did record some introductions to questions, but this did not happen as a conversation, which is why if it sounds a little less fluid, that's why. That said, I am going to ask these questions like I was talking directly to Charles. So with all that out of the way, let's dive in. Charles, welcome to the show. Could you start by giving us a brief overview of what happened, what the attack vector was, and how Bybit's cold wallets were accessed?
So this was an attack from a well-organized group. The attackers could not directly steal the funds as they were secured by secure hardware and also the smart contract. But instead, they tricked the Bybit organization into signing a malicious transaction that sent all the funds to the attacker. This is a nation-state hacking group. They have a lot of resources and a lot of knowledge. Compromising computer networks is really part of their daily activities. They have found a new lucrative attack vector, and they are draining companies that don't use enterprise-grade solutions, including clear signing and secure display for their custody, and they won't stop here. Now the details are a little bit more clear. It mirrors the Radiant and WazirX breaches. What Lazarus did for the first two hacks, they compromised the computers of the transaction authorizers, and victims believed they were approving a legitimate transaction, but in reality, they signed a malicious one. The malware simply swapped the transaction to be signed right before it's sent to the signer. In Bybit's case, they didn't compromise the endpoint, but they compromised part of the safe wallet infrastructure, and it simply swapped the transaction right before signing it. The Bybit organization was thinking they were about to transfer funds from their cold wallet to their hot wallet. However, they unknowingly signed a transaction that swapped Safe's implementation for a backdoored version. So the Lazarus deployed a compromised contract and they manipulated the cold data, redirecting control to the attacker's malicious contract. And then it's game over. And for me, the real question is, how do we prevent these type of attacks that could stop new entrants coming into the space and protect customers at the retail and institutional level from these hacks? That's why at Ledger, we have Ledger Enterprise with clear signing, and this product ensures transactions are displayed in format that you can understand and verify. And this completely solves this kind of threat. Ledger Enterprise solutions do not rely on smart contracts, and it allows organizations to implement a flexible governance layer and also to provide clear signing on dedicated security device. And I really think the ecosystem needs to evolve using smart contract and retail devices that don't support the smart contract to secure 1.4 billion is not an acceptable situation. We really need to up the game as a community.
Could you explain a little bit more about how enterprise wallet systems typically work? For example, what are the main vulnerabilities and areas for improvement?
Enterprise cryptocurrency security typically involves multi-authorization wallet, hardware security module, and governance frameworks requiring multiple approvals for transaction. Attacks like the Bybit incident succeed when the system fails through human error, social engineering, or inadequate security infrastructure. The core vulnerability often lies in blind signing practices, meaning that authorizer simply authorize a transaction that they don't understand. So I think this is the biggest issue there. Solutions like Enterprise with Clear Signing prevent such attacks by showing users exactly what they are authorizing before approval. And it also provides institutional grade hardware security and governance. There is no smart contract involved, so the risk associated to bad smart contract call simply doesn't exist. In a setup called hot wallet, organization will define different governance rules, preventing to move more than a certain amount per day, requiring at least let's say 5 authorization to move funds, also limiting asset transfer only to a specific address, the hot wallet, for instance. And this governance is implemented in secure hardware. It's set up using the security device, and any action requires human approvals on these devices where all the information is displayed on the screen. As cryptocurrency adoption grows, we really need a robust self-custody solution that eliminates both clear signing and counterparty risk. This will be essential for protecting assets at both retail and institutional level.
Hello, friends. I am thrilled to share that Ledger is once again partnering and sponsoring with The Breakdown. Many of you know, but for those of you who don't, Ledger is the most secure hardware wallet for your crypto and logins. It's trusted by 7 million users and secures 20% of the world's digital assets. What's more, Ledger is a lot more than wallets. Over the recent years, they've built a comprehensive ecosystem of products and services, all of which are designed to make digital ownership more secure and accessible. You can buy your Bitcoin with Ledger and Ledger Live, and so much more. Basically, not only do they want to keep your assets secure, they want you to be able to do more with them. Ledger's newest devices, the Ledger Stacks and Ledger Flex, introduced the world's first secure touchscreens, making it easier and safer to manage your transactions and assets. Alongside Ledger Stacks and Ledger Flex, the company also launched the Ledger Security Key app, offering a safer alternative to traditional passwords and enhancing your digital security. If you are in this space, you owe it to yourself to at least check out Ledger and their ecosystem, what they have available to you. So thanks once again to Ledger for sponsoring the show. One of the biggest criticisms that's floating around is the idea that Bybit shouldn't have left so many assets exposed to a single point of failure. Do you think the industry should move to using multiple cold wallets, maybe even diversifying their security procedures between them?
Leaving millions in crypto assets vulnerable to a single point of failure contradicts the fundamental security principle. Like Bybit's reliance on consumer-grade product with blind signing functionality, essentially authorizing transactions without understanding their content, this created a catastrophic vulnerability. Segregation and diversification can be good practices. However, the most important part is really to use enterprise-grade solution with its associated governance. This includes clear signing, as I said, at the protocol level, where transaction details are fully visible before approval. We really need to eliminate this blank check problem that enabled this hack. A company handling significant crypto holdings must adopt multi-layered security strategies with hardware-based protection and distributed approval mechanism to prevent any single compromise from causing devastating losses.
Following from a discussion that was happening a lot on Twitter, Bybit changed their APIs to provide real-time liquidation data just prior to the hack. Do you think that change could have contributed, or was it just a coincidence?
It's difficult to know for sure. Bybit is now on the spotlight. They went through significant withdrawals that can create liquidity instability. Additionally, if arbitrageurs moved from Bybit, clients could get liquidated while other markets reflect different prices. It's difficult to know now for sure. And Bybit, for being as transparent as they can, is very important now for them, but also for the ecosystem.
This attack has now been linked to the Femex and Wazir X hacks, and they all seem to have exploited the same vulnerability in cold wallet systems. Why do you think these attacks are becoming more common than the DeFi hacks that were prevalent in the last cycle?
For attackers, it's a matter of opportunity cost. Low-level attackers spend little resources to do basic phishing on retail. High-level attackers target higher values target. Unfortunately, some of them don't have proper security setups, and this is what enables these attacks. It's also important to mention that now, Lazarus have stolen more than $3 billion in total. That means that they now have significantly more resources to conduct even more sophisticated attacks. So, unfortunately, we can expect this kind of attack to become even more sophisticated. I really want to say it, actors with a significant wallet value that don't take security seriously will get hacked at some point. It's not a matter of if, it's just a matter of when. Cold wallets are becoming more common due to perfect storm of factors, growing cryptocurrency adoption that has created higher value targets. And also at the same time, you have sophisticated threat actors like the Lazarus group that continue to evolve their techniques. As cryptocurrency holdings increase in value, attackers naturally raise their operational sophistication to match the potential reward. Many institutions still rely on consumer-grade solutions with fundamental security flaws like blind signing, essentially authorizing transactions without seeing their content. This practice is equivalent to signing blank check. So maybe you are signing the transaction you wanted to sign, but maybe you are signing away all your assets. Traditional security measures are no longer sufficient against these advanced threats. Enterprise-grade solution with clear signing technology, which shows users exactly what they are authorizing, we present the necessary solution in security to counter these increasingly sophisticated attacks.
Does this mean that exchange wallets are now the weakest link in the system rather than DeFi protocols? Or is it more like they're the best risk reward given how large the top exchanges are becoming?
Exchange wallets have indeed become a prime target for sophisticated attackers, representing a concerning weak link in the cryptocurrency ecosystem. While DeFi protocols have hardened their security through audits and formal verification, many exchanges continue to rely on inadequate security practices like blind signing, essentially authorizing transactions without seeing their content. The Bybit hack demonstrates how even cold wallet systems can be compromised when using consumer-grade products instead of institutional security solution with proper governance and clear signing capabilities. As threat actors like Lazarus Group continue evolving their techniques, exchanges managing billions in assets must implement enterprise-grade custody solution that eliminate a single point of failure and provide complete transaction visibility. Without this improvement, exchange wallets will likely remain the path of least resistance for high-value attacks. Attackers drained several DeFi protocols in the past. The previous biggest hack was the Ronin protocol. And as I often say, security is a chain. It's as strong as its weakest link. So new DeFi protocol relies on battle-tested smart contract. The security of this protocol has significantly improved over the years, but it doesn't mean that they are secure forever. New attack techniques, new vulnerability will occur. So as of now, the attacker's trade-off is that attacking an exchange that is not using enterprise-grade security is the best opportunity-cost ratio. But this is the state today. It might change in the future.
Is there anything that retail users should take away from this hack? Is it time to get more serious about moving away from exchange custody and onto hardware wallets?
Retail users should always use secure hardware to safeguard their digital assets, like Ledger Stacks or Ledger Flex. With a hardware wallet, even if an attacker succeeds in getting control of your computer, they will not be able to steal your private keys and access your crypto assets because they are in a segregated and secure environment. Your private key is kept offline, and that limits a lot the risk of hacking. And the challenge of using an exchange wallet is ownership. On this type of wallet, you will never be in control of the private key for your assets, and exchanges run the risk of being hacked. And most importantly, the ethos of blockchain technology is its permissionless aspect. And it's possible thanks to decentralized consensus of the blockchain, but also thanks to self-custody. With self-custody, you don't have to ask the permission to anyone to own and use your value.
You've mentioned that one of the big issues with Bybit was that they were using consumer-grade signing devices that require blind signing. Could you talk a little bit more about this and maybe share how Ledger Enterprise specifically differs from consumer-grade devices?
Ledger Enterprise uses secure hardware with a personal security signing device that allow for clear signing and a full governance layer that is implemented at the HSM level. It allows institution, corporate organization to self-custody or keep their assets with regulated exchanges. And it also allows to trade off exchange through Ledger Enterprise Trading. And this also removes the counterparty risk and lower the fees. The governance itself is implemented within the secure hardware, and clients have end-to-end security from their personal security devices to the HSM. We've been working since the end of 2023 on defining standards for an implementation for clear signing. We have created an ERC 7730, and many of our partners and leaders in the space have jumped on the board, but not everyone has jumped yet. Every one of us has a responsibility to protect ourselves and also to protect users.
Overall, what are your big takeaways from this incident? What do you think needs to change about security best practices moving forward?
If we want to have the freedom that crypto provides, we need self-custody and the best security in the world. The real question is, how do we prevent these types of attacks that could stop new entrants coming into the space and protect customers at the retail and institutional level from these hacks? Ledger Enterprise with clear signing, which shows you what you will sign, solve this. And clear signing needs to become the industry standard. So Ledger is working on this for quite some time now. And we have like growing number of network and partners to properly integrate clear signing. So you shouldn't sign a blank check. It only takes one signature to lose everything. And in the coming years, we are aiming to evolve our clear signing technology beyond Ethereum, including like more blockchain networks, Solana, and other chains.
All right, friends. And that is the conclusion of this interview. Thanks again to Charles from Ledger for joining the show and providing that insight into the inner workings of exchange security. Obviously, every time we have a hack like this, it creates a new context to have discussions about how we move forward and how we improve. And even now, I'm seeing so much interesting stuff happening, much of which I'm sure we will talk about over the coming weeks. Good on Bybit for taking a situation that could have been terrible and doing the best they can with it. Good on the industry for really digging into these challenges. For now, that's going to do it for today's breakdown. Appreciate you listening as always. And until next time, be safe and take care of each other. Peace.